Tracee Ellis Ross does a podcast episode with Michelle Obama on Michelle Obama's new podcast, apparently, that's on YouTube. And it got the Manosphere crashing out. um, she said a lot of interesting things from what I've heard so far. And the reaction that these things are getting is so funny to me because men just refuse to listen to what women are saying. And they men still acting like they don't know what's going on, and they're still shocked at why women are reacting to them the way that women are reacting to them is nothing short of astonishing at this point. Tracee Ellis Ross in this clip, she just says that the men that she is dating or the men that she has dated that are her age are extremely misogynistic. And she basically was saying, like, one of the, like, for an example, the way that it shows up is they'll be eating and he'll just say something that's homophobic, let's say, right? She's like, I'm taken aback by that, obviously, but I'm like, what did you say? Makes a lot of sense to me that she would feel like that. But listen to how Anton Daniels reacts to this.
So essentially what they're saying is that guys that hold on to traditional values are outdated, right? She prefers somebody that is into their gender fluidity and transgender and homosexuality, and people can just do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it and all of this other stuff.
That doesn't even make sense. She doesn't want a man that's transgender or a man that's into his homosexuality. She was saying she just wants a man that is not transmissive or homophobic. That's all she's saying. She's just like, yeah, I think that that's wrong to hate a group of people simply for existing. I don't like that. Essentially, for my black folk, my black men like Anton Daniels, essentially, it would be like a white woman saying she doesn't want to date a racist white man. She's out to dinner with the white man and he says, oh, the blacks. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I don't want to date a man that's, like openly, overtly racist. That's crazy. That's all she's saying. She's not saying that she wants a man that is transgender himself or themselves. That's not what she's saying. She just wants a man that is accepting of other lifestyles and people's choices that don't affect them. Who cares what somebody does in their personal life, as long as the people that are involved are consenting and it doesn't harm me? Why do I care? It's really simple. It's really simple. It's as simple as that. I don't care what anybody else does, as long as it doesn't harm somebody in the act of it, and it doesn't harm me or other people or whatever. Don't care one bit. Doesn't bother me one bit. That's their thing. And also, furthermore, I think that we need to protect those people and protect their right to do so. Not only does it not matter to me that they're doing it, I'm saying I applaud it. It's their life, it's their lifestyle, it's their choice. And I don't care. And I don't even like talking about it in that way because it's not even like their choice necessarily. I didn't choose to be heterosexual, right? So it's not even their choice. It's just they're just people. They're just existing. I don't care what they do. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect me negatively whatsoever. And Tracee Ellis Ross is like, yeah, I want a man that understands that and is willing to accept people. That's it.
And so essentially, they've outgrown traditional values to now embrace whatever this new stuff is. And so her whole thing about dating younger men,
it's not new. It's not new. Being accepting of other human beings and their choices, it's not a new idea. It's not a new concept. It's really old, probably as old as humanity itself.
Is that younger men have basically been raised to be feminized versus older men that have more traditional values and that is age appropriate for how old she is. Now, I'm looking at.
Okay. Tracee Ellis Ross is 52 years old. I don't think Tracee Ellis Ross is dating 20-year-old men. I don't. She's probably dating like millennial age men, 30s, in their 30s, I would say, right? Millennial men are not feminized. I wouldn't call us feminized, right? Well, and I mean my painted fingernails, but I wouldn't call us feminized as a generation, right? I wouldn't call us feminized. But I would say that we are the most progressive group of men and women. So boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, alpha, right? Alphas are little bitty babies. Who cares? But out of those, we are the most progressive. The men are. That is very attractive to her. Somebody that is very adverse to misogyny. This woman is very adverse to misogyny. That's what's going on. She doesn't like it. She feels suffocated by it. Clearly, if you've ever listened to Tracee Ellis Ross talk about this stuff, that's very apparent about her. She's just not having it, right? And there is a demographic of men who it's easier to find men in that group that are not as homophobic and not as misogynistic as other men, because we're all misogynistic, but we're not as misogynistic as Gen X, her generation, or boomers, and now Gen Z, because Gen Z, we know the men and the young men and the boys are extremely, extremely misogynistic, even more so than millennials, even more so than boomers at this point. So I totally understand why she is saying this.
At her age right now, and it says that she's 52, will be 53 this year. Wow. It's crazy. It's crazy, in my opinion, personally, and I want to know what you guys got to say inside of the chat. It's crazy, in my opinion, personally, to be listening to a 52-year-old woman talk about she prefers to date younger men, which, listen, do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. When guys do it, they say, oh man, you hunting, you're a predator, all of this stuff. When women do it, it's based off of the fact that they understand her because it's all about evolving and gender fluidity. But
that's not that. Anton, if you guys listen to Anton Daniels, he never makes a point. That doesn't make a point. That's no point to saying that. That's not that was just a word salad. Again, men who date younger, for an example, right? You want to compare men who date younger versus Tracee Ellis Ross. Again, I don't know the age of the men she's talking about dating specifically. My guess is she's not talking about Gen Z. My guess is she's talking about millennials. That's my guess. I can be wrong, but that's my guess. Millennials, 30s, 30 to 40 years old. So she can date a dude that's 10 years younger than her. That's not predatory. That's my age. I'm 43. She's 52, about to turn 53. That's perfectly okay. She can date a dude 5 years younger than me, 38. That's perfectly okay. Even for a 52-year-old woman, that's perfectly okay. Or a 52-year-old man. A 38-year-old woman with a 52-year-old man, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. She knows what she's doing now. But yeah, it's predatory when a 45-year-old man, ain't got to be that old. When a 30-year-old man is dating a 20-year-old girl, when a 28-year-old man is dating a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old girl, yeah, I think that's predatory. Absolutely. I think it's predatory when a 35-year-old man is dating a 23-year-old. I think that's predatory. Yeah, I do. This is not the same thing. This is not the same thing. Younger men, like that's a vague statement. Younger men, cool. Like I said, she's 53. The age matters. Youth matters. 35 plus, do what you want to do. 35 could date a 58-year-old. Who cares? They know what they're doing. Their brain is fully healed. They're good to go.
Let's continue to hear what she has to say.
Okay, so this is kind of sad, but not an uncommon moment for Tracee Ellis Ross. Talented actress, very accomplished woman, but every time I see her talk, man, she's always coming to terms with not being married, not having a husband. Now we know these are, this is a panel of liberal people who are not.
I think that people ask Tracee Ellis Ross a lot about her dating status and her relationship status because our society just can't wrap their brain around the idea that a beautiful woman isn't interested in marrying a man. That's men and women. I think it happens on both sides. I don't think it happens nearly as much. Women aren't as nearly in awe of this or perplexed by this at all, but it does happen on both sides. But yeah, men specifically are very like, huh? You look like that and you don't want a man? This dude right here, he's a prime example of this. Like he's obsessed with Tracee Ellis's Ross's body and other women's body. And he thinks that, every woman's body is owed to a man.
Going to use the term husband because they're not going to give you the satisfaction. Right. That's disrespectful. That's empowering the patriarchy. So they'll use terms like partner.
Yeah. And partner, the funniest thing is, I will never understand this. So in the manosphere, you have men railing against the idea of being married. This is the thing about the manosphere that's hilarious to me. The manosphere is not a monolith, by the way. I know people think that about the manosphere. It's not. So there's one consistent theme, and that theme is we need to figure out a way to oppress women and steal their labor, pretty much. But outside of that, there are many ways of achieving this and many schools of thought. But you have like a group of men who believe that marriage is of the devil. Why would I ever get married? Why would I ever date? These are incels, right? There's a group of men that are uninterested in being married whatsoever. And then there's a group of men who the OG manosphere are the men that are interested. The OG red pill are the men that were trying to be married because that's the way for you to oppress women the most is by being married to them. I'm saying like you as an individual man, that's how you can oppress a woman the most is by marrying them. So it's funny. He's talking about liberals not calling people wives and husbands or whatever out of respect for their partners and out of respect for the people's choices. I brought all of that up to say, if you are a group of people that you don't even want marriage yourself, then you should understand why people would call people partners and not wives and husbands, because people are together, but they're not married. A lot of men who aren't incels also want partnership with a woman, but they don't want to be married to a woman. A lot of men fear marriage, but love partnership with women. They want to get every benefit of having a woman living with them and not have to risk anything on his end, right? Even though I think marriage as an institution is terrible for women, but that's what he has, that's the lie that he has sold himself on. It's like, I'm going to lose. There's a risk of me losing something if I get married, but they still want that woman. They have kids with the woman. They live with the woman. You know what I mean? They benefit from her domestic labor, from her labor outside the home, and all of those things. And you also, when you call somebody's partner, you're respecting the sanctity of marriage in y'all minds, the sanctity of marriage, because not everybody is a wife and not everybody is a husband. There's a lot of people out here running around not married, but posing as people that are married, right? So if you're a married person or if you believe in the institution of marriage, even, shouldn't you want people to be called what they are, partner, if they're not their husband or wife? Doesn't that make sense? Like, you guys, you don't even understand. You're just trying to find some way of shaming, trying to own the libs or whatever, but you just sound dumb because the people in your own core don't even believe in marriage, a lot of them.
That's empowering the patriarchy. So they'll use terms like partner or anything else. But she's talking about struggling, not being able to find a husband or to find a husband that she believes meets her standards. More on that later. Imagine growing up and you want marriage, right? You want a wedding. This is Tracee Ellis Ross. This is the state of a lot of modern women who are successful in their career outside of their relationship.
Tracee Ellis Ross, like a lot of women, what she wants is, to put it simply, she wants a marriage on her own terms if she wants to be married. I don't think she cares about marriage that much, but she's saying, and this is what men don't understand about women like her. There are a large group of women, and that group of women is growing every day. There's a large group of women that basically look at men in relationships like this. Yes, I would love to be in a relationship with a healthy, healed, whole human being of a man. I would love it. But if I cannot be in a relationship with a whole, healthy, healed human being of a man, I have zero interest in being in any relationship with a man. So it's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. And that, my friend, is not delusional. That is logical because they're not suffering in the interim. It's not like they're out here boo-hooing. I know the internet got y'all believing that there's a bunch of lonely women. There's a lonely woman epidemic. There really is not. Women are okay without us. Beyond okay, they thrive without men. They're fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing about Tracee Ellis Ross gives me she needs a man in her life. I'm so happy she doesn't have a man because as smart as I think she is and as diligent as I think she has been, odds are she would still choose a bad partner just because men are so bad. Nothing to do with her, just because men are so bad. Odds are her glow would be dimmed. That's just the odds. And there are some women who have cracked the code on this, and they are unwilling to dim their light under any circumstances. And I, for one, because I am a rational person, I think that is beautiful. I think that is definitely the way to move in life. And I wish more people move like that.
Relationships, they're still looking for a man to get on that one knee. And Tracee Ellis Ross is kind of like a mascot, right? Like an archetype of a type of woman, usually the boss babe type. And this isn't the gold digger.
These dudes, listen. These dudes hate boss babes and they hate gold diggers. So basically, they hate women who have successful careers and they hate women who want to use men for their money. They hate the women who have their own money and they hate the women who want to use men for their own money. Who does that leave? Like you guys just say, bro, you're almost there. You just don't like women. You just don't like women. All women intimidate you. Women who want to use you for your money intimidate you. And women who have no interest in your money, no matter how little that is, intimidate you. Because if you don't have the money, which 99.9% of men don't have the money to get a gold digger, you don't want a gold digger because you know you can't control her with your money. And then you fear the boss babe because they don't need you for your money, so you can't control them with your money. So what you want to find that sweet spot of that woman who she's working at Sonic Burgers or whatever. You making your $90,000 a year, $85,000 a year or whatever. That's way better than the lifestyle that she was able to provide for herself. You're in your mind, this is the woman you think you could, you're like, oh, I'm going to get this pretty 19-year-old girl. My 30-year-old ass is going to get this pretty 19-year-old girl that works at fucking Sonic. And I'm going to marry her and she's going to be my wife slave. I'm going to move her into my house and I'm going to do whatever I want to do to her. And she's going to have my babies. I'm going to trap her with a few babies and whatever money I make, that's going to be enough money. And most of y'all don't even make $85,000. I'm giving you that to make it nice.
Brittany Renner, that's something that's a lot different. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like this is the accomplished corporate, or maybe a woman who was just really focused on her career in any field and realized in no time that, hey, I think I might have missed the opportunity to capitalize on the type of man who I wanted to marry, because now I've outpriced myself out of the dating market. Let's keep listening. I got more to say. Interesting.
The thing about what you're saying that doesn't make sense with Tracee Ellis Ross in particular is Tracee Ellis Ross is dating younger men. She's saying it right now. She has access to all the men. Any group of men she wants, she has access to them. She wants to date a 19-year-old, she could. She wants to date a 90-year-old, she could. She can marry whoever she wants. She can sleep with whoever she wants. She can afford whoever she wants. This is so hilarious listening to you stumble and bumble and fumble around this very apparent and loud point. It is simply her not being willing to settle for shitty men. And most men are shitty, no matter how much money they make. It doesn't matter.
And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends.
You do. Well, this is a good.
And that's the thing that the men don't understand. The women have a friend group they can build with, they can bond with, they can share with, they can be intimate with. Men don't have that because we put all of our focus into getting a woman to be that for us. And also our misogyny doesn't allow us to be vulnerable with anybody, let alone men. That's what's going on. Tracee Ellis Ross, once again, perfect example of that. A woman who has a great friend group, glowing, happy, beautiful from head to toe, inside out, all the things. And she doesn't need a man because of this. She's not reliant on a man because of this. And the men are crashing out. Listen to the Manosphere. They're crashing out. They cannot understand. They need to shame her. They need to tear her down. They need to find some chinks in her armor. These boys crashing out bad.
This is ridiculous. Tracee Ellis Ross has some things to say here. She has some things to say, and boy, I'm gonna begin with the one everybody wants to talk about here first. Let me see. Boy, here she goes on the tear here.
The fake disgust is hilarious. That's always, oh my God. Listen to what she says. Listen to how mad he gets at this. Like, this is so innocuous.
The thing is, I stay open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably more
way open.
Yes. Oh my God, that sounded so wrong.
I didn't mean that, Mom.
My heart,
your family,
my heart stays open.
Your heart
more open than it should.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
hard.
All right.
More open than it should be, but I do date, and it's a fascinating adventure out there. You know, mostly though, I think there's really good men out there. I think to a certain extent, I'm a very unique sort of.
She's lying. She's being nice. That's her being nice. There's not a lot of good men out there. She knows that.
Unicorn of a woman.
Yes, you
And
are.
so it's going to take a unique person.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I've really learned how to live my life and enjoy it and not sit around waiting. I was saying to someone recently that I'm one of the first generations of choice, and it's not anymore, which really, there was a window and that has shifted.
52 years old, talking like she's in the race.
Yeah, she's in the race. She's in the race. She's winning the race.
Yeah,
You mean
like the
just-
assumption of Roe v. Wade and the ability for a woman to find her own delight and pleasure and choice around how she navigates dating or how one would navigate dating. And we're in a different world now.
Right
and I'm
about that.
curious what that will look like. It frightens me for younger girls because of many reasons, obviously. But
It's always some old, wrinkled up, dusty ovary chick talking about abortion.
I don't know if you guys have ever been on my live, but if you've never been on my live, there's a dude in there. I call him, his name is like Racial Self-Defense. I call him Rachel Self-Defense, just because it pisses him off. But he sounds like him. I don't know.
As if that's what the hell she was offering. There's always some chick whose ovaries are sitting at the wrecking yard. I mean, they've been gone. You can't even pick over them for parts.
It's so crazy to hear men who suffer from erectile dysfunction at the age of 30 yelling and spitting into a microphone about the fertility of a woman, when the more data that comes out shows you that pretty much, I would say, a lot of these issues surrounding like fertility is directly linked to a man. Like, so much of it is directly linked to the man. The health of the baby, all of that, like, directly linked to the man. It's ridiculous. So yeah, this dude is just dumb. Like, why are you so obsessed with her and her ovaries? If she doesn't want to have kids, she doesn't want to have kids. Not everybody, you can't shame a person who doesn't want to have kids by saying their ovaries are dusty. She doesn't give a fuck about having kids. Clearly, she would have had them already, because she could have had them with anybody or with nobody.
Talking about abortion as if that's a dilemma for you.
Because some people care about the health of other people. And she's like, yeah, I don't want to be with a man that doesn't understand that a woman's right to health care is a necessity. It's nothing to be in question. So if she's dating a man that doesn't understand that, and she comes to the conclusion that he is an unsafe man to be around, which she probably should, why are you mad at that? Why, you know what I mean? Like, that makes perfect sense to me.
She's talking as if pregnancy is a dilemma that she is faced with. I'm really concerned about this, but not for your damn self. Well, for the younger females, what the hell kind of vicarious pitching and moaning is this?
Whoa, bucko.
Tracee couldn't get pregnant if she got grabbed by one of the face huggers and aliens.
Nigga, please.
Ugh.
And here she is, wasting bandwidth, wasting YouTube airtime, talking about something that doesn't even apply to her anymore. Baby, family planning is out the door for you.
They are flailing. The men's are not okay, man. All this woman did was go on a podcast and just say, yeah, I'm just not really interested in being with the misogynistic man, and I date younger men. That was pretty much what I got from what I heard so far. And these dudes punching the air. This is sick, man. At the end of the day, though, they're just trying to use Tracee Ellis Ross as like a punching bag, and they want to make an example out of her. Because the thing that the Red Pillars and the Manosphere push, one of their like core messages, is women when they get older will regret not having kids. And in their mind, they think, well, to have kids, in most cases, you're going to need a man. So that's what it's really about. They don't say you're going to regret not having a man. They know that ship is sailed. They'll usually tie it to not having children because kids are fucking awesome. Kids are sweet. Kids are beautiful. Kids are gentle. Kids are kind. Men aren't. So they don't say men, they say kids. And Tracee Ellis Ross and women of her ilk cannot survive. We cannot let women like that live without being challenged because they are proof that you don't need to have a baby, that you can be happy and be healthy and be thriving and be glowing. They go on these attacks. They need to attack women and tear women like her down because they cannot have her be like a beacon of hope for women. They can't have her. They can't have the Ebony K. Williams and the Tracee Ellis Rosses of the world existing. They can't have beautiful, strong, opinionated. They can't have those women. They can't exist single, and in Ebony K. Williams' case, having a baby without a man present. You can't have that. That's what they can't have. And these men are really trying to fearmonger about IVF as well.
So if you have a daughter, if you have a young woman in your life, I think the wrong thing to say is you have time. I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think that helps that daughter. I don't think that helps that woman. I think the reality of the situation and the truth is what will help them. Will it hurt? Yeah, they'll be offended. They won't like that coffee.
Drink the coffee. It'll make you feel better.
But overall, I believe that's the best approach and decision when you're guiding your children and daughters. Now, they can do what they want. But when you see chicks crying about IVF not working and all this other, stuff, and then, of course, you want to make sure that you're painting a realistic picture of what marriage looks like.
They want to fearmonger and tell women like, oh, your time, you don't have forever. You can't be, everybody's not Tracee Ellis Ross. She's miserable, by the way. Look at her. Look how miserable she is. The IVF didn't work. And look at all these women crashing out over IVF not working. There are way more women who don't give a fuck about ever having a baby, bro. You guys got to get off the internet and touch grass. But he's trying to paint this picture that Tracee Ellis Ross is miserable. This is wicked work. And then look, he goes to her page, and then what happens?
Last time I talked about Tracee Ellis Ross here, this is her IG page. I went on her IG page, and that was the biggest mistake I could have made in my life because I scrolled down, and you know what I saw? Nudity.
Oh.
I was like, why is she always getting naked, bro? And I didn't know that, but that would demonetize my video, right? One of the videos I did. And I have this theory. I've had this theory ever since then is I've thought, there you go, man. Right there. Right? There she is. Flashing her, what do we have? 11 million followers. I'm scared. There are other photos. I'm scared to go to the next one. But yeah, I thought about why is it that a woman who is, I think in her 50s, she's got to be in her 50s. Not that she looks it, but I just know, remembering back last time. Why do you have to flash? Why do you have to show your body? Why the nude poses?
Because it ain't none of your motherfucking business. Also, she's an inspiration. She's inspiring other people and other women. That's all it is. And she just likes it. I'm sure. If I look like her, if my wife didn't mind, I'd be getting naked too.
And then it hit me, man. When a woman doesn't get married, the fear probably comes from all different types of angles. One of those things is who's going to have the pleasure of looking at my body.
She has many men. What she has said, she has many men. Tracee has said she has a carousel of men, a carousel of lovers. That's what she said in that video. A lot of men see her body, according to her. She's okay. She doesn't need a million. Y'all, the fact that y'all don't understand that women do this shit for the girlies is funny. Ask them, they'll tell you they do. This is not me assuming. This is women telling me that they do it for the girlies. They don't do nothing for the male gaze. And I really do believe them. Like, men gonna look regardless. Why would a woman need to do anything to get the attention of men when women just existing gets the attention of men? They don't need to go out of their way to get to get male validation. Men are going to validate women, you know, based on their physical appearance every fucking day.
Female body is beautiful, right? Men love women for a reason, and a lot of that has to do with their bodies. And I'm convinced that if a woman doesn't find a husband who she can show that body to, and she doesn't have any type of value system in her life through a religion or something that would keep her from showing that to anybody else, then the world is going to see that body.
He thinks that that's a bad thing. And like I told y'all, he thinks that women's bodies are owed to a man. So if she doesn't have a man to show her body off to, then she won't feel validated. But that's not the case. So the way that these men are going out here and showing their hand, and, you know, Tracee Ellis Ross just existing is having them short circuiting. I love it. It's a great Saturday today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm out of here.